Hello, friends. Today we are going to hear a story about Jesus, some of his friends, and their breakfast on the beach. Breakfast on the beach. What do you like to have for breakfast? Maybe you would like some bread. Some people like to have sausage. Maybe you would like some fruit, an apple or an orange. Some people like to have a bowl of cereal with their breakfast. Would you like to have a glass of milk? Or maybe you know some grown-ups who would like some coffee or tea with their breakfast. In today's story, we hear about Jesus and his friends having breakfast on the beach. And they will have some bread and some fish. Today's story takes place in the Sea of Galilee. On this world map, we are located about right here where my finger is, just south of the star that says Washington, D.C. Our story takes place over here, the Sea of Galilee. The Sea of Galilee has lots of fish. Fishermen use nets to catch the fish. I will draw pictures as I tell the story. Feel free to use a piece of paper and a crayon or whatever you like to draw with and draw along with me. I'm also using a piece of cardboard underneath the paper so that my marker won't bleed through the paper onto the table. All right, friends, let's begin. One evening, Peter, I'm going to draw a stick figure here for Peter. Peter says, I'm going out to fish. Peter's friends, let's draw two figures for Peter's friends. They say, we'll come join you. So they get into their boat. Let's draw a sailboat. Give it a sail. They got in their boat, in the water, and they fished and fished and fished. They fished all night. I'll draw a moon to show it's nighttime. They fished all night, and they caught nothing. And that made them sad. We'll draw some sad faces because they were sad. They didn't catch any fish. Early in the morning, let's draw a sun to show that it's the morning time. There was a man. And he stood on the shore. Let's draw a shoreline. And he called out to the people in the boat, and he asked them a question. He asked them, friends, have you caught any fish? His friends answered, no, they have not caught any fish. So the man on the shore tells them, throw your net. Let's draw a net. So throw your net into the water on the right side of the boat. So the men did what they were told, and they took their net and threw it outside the right side of their boat. And when they did that, they caught so many fish. The net became so heavy that they could not bring the net back into the boat because there were so many fish inside the net. Suddenly, Peter realized that the man on the shore was Jesus. Peter jumped out of the boat into the water and he swam to shore. The other disciples followed him into the shore with the boat and the fish. So now Peter and his friends have gotten off the boat and they're on the shore with Jesus. When they got to the shore, they saw a fire. A little campfire. Let's give it a little bit of a flame. On the fire they saw there were fish cooking and there was bread baking. And it smelled so good. Jesus said, "Bring some of the fish you caught." So Peter got back into the boat and he dragged the net full of the fish onto the shore. And inside the net, there were 153 large fish. Jesus took the bread and the fish and he gave some to each of his friends. So now they each have some of their own fish and their own bread. After their fireside breakfast, Jesus asked Peter, "Do you love me?" So we'll say, Jesus asked Peter, "Do you love me?" And we'll put a question mark inside the heart. Well, Peter answers, "Yes, Lord, you know I love you." So we'll draw a red heart to show that Peter answers, "Yes, you know I love you." So Jesus said, "Feed my lambs." So let's draw a little lamb with his ears. Let's make this a puffy lamb. Fluffy, fluffy. There's his fluffy body. And we'll give him 4 legs. Again, Jesus asked Peter, "Do you love me?" So another heart with another question mark. Jesus asking Peter, "Do you love me?" And again, Peter answers, "Yes, Lord, you know I love you." Jesus said, "Take care of my sheep." Let's draw another sheep here. His head and ears. A fluffy body and 4 legs. Again, Jesus asked Peter, "Do you love me?" Let's draw another heart with another question mark. And again, Peter answers, "Yes, Lord, you know I love you." I'll draw a red heart to show that Peter says he loves Jesus. And Jesus said, "Feed my sheep." I'll draw another sheep, fluffy, with 4 legs. And Jesus said, "Feed my sheep, follow me." I wonder how the disciples felt when Jesus asked them to throw the net on the other side. Imagine working all night, then sitting down to a warm meal that somebody has made for you. I wonder what the disciples talked about as they ate their breakfast. I wonder how Peter felt when Jesus asked, "Do you love me?" Maybe Jesus is saying that we have the power to love the way Jesus loves us. Maybe Jesus is saying to trust him, to value what he values, to see the world the way he sees it, to love the way he loves us. Jesus makes friends by showing up, setting the table, and serving a meal. When we love Jesus, we should remember what Jesus did, how he reached out to people, how he welcomed everybody to God's table. And when we make a mistake or hurt someone's feelings, we should make things right with that person. Let's remember to love one another the way Jesus loves us. Let's remember to love with our whole hearts the way Jesus loves you, my friends. Today's story takes place in the Sea of Galilee. On this world map, we are located about right here where my finger is, just south of the star that says Washington, D.C. Our story takes place over here, the Sea of Galilee in northern Israel. I will draw pictures as I tell this story. Feel free to use a piece of paper and a crayon or whatever you like to draw with, and draw along with me. Because I'm using a marker, I'm also using a piece of cardboard that we use for arts and crafts just to make sure the marker doesn't bleed through the paper. One evening, Peter said, "I'm going out to fish." Peter's friends said, "We will go with you." They got into their boat and they fished and fished and fished. They fished and fished. They fished all night. But they caught nothing. Early in the morning, a man stood on the shore. He called out to them, "Friends, have you caught any fish?" So here's a question mark and a speech bubble. Because this man is asking his friends, "Have you caught any fish?" His friends answered, "No." So we'll write no and put that in a speech bubble because they answered no to the question. So the man tells the men in the boat, "Throw your net over the right side of the boat, and you will find some fish." So they listened, and they threw their net over the right side of the boat. And sure enough, just like the man said, they caught lots and lots of fish. Why, they caught so many fish that they could not haul the net back into the boat because the net was so heavy, full of so many fish. Suddenly, Peter realized that the man on the shore was Jesus. Let's draw a shoreline here like this. So, Peter jumped out of the boat into the water and he swam to shore. He went from the boat to the shore. The other disciples followed Peter to the shore with their boat and their fish. So now Peter and his friends are off the boat and on the shore. When they landed, they saw a fire. So we're going to try to draw a campfire, my friends. We'll draw some logs. A little campfire site here. We'll give it a little bit of a flame. Maybe we'll give it some smoke. Look like a campfire. There were some fish cooking over the fire and some bread. Let's draw some fish and a loaf of bread cooking over the fire. Jesus said, "Bring some of the fish you caught." So Peter goes back into the boat and he drags the net full of fish to the shore. There were 153 large fish. Jesus took the bread and he took the fish and he gave it to his friends. So now each friend has some fish and some bread. After their fireside breakfast, Jesus asked Peter, "Do you love me?" But Jesus asks Peter, "Do you love me?" "Yes, Lord," Peter said. "You know I love you." Now we're going to use a red marker to show that Peter answers Jesus and says, "Yes, I do love you." Jesus said, "Feed my lambs." I'm going to draw a lamb head. Let's make this a fluffy lamb. Let's give it some legs. Again, Jesus asked, "Peter, do you love me?" Peter says, "Yes, Lord, you know that I love you." Jesus said, "Take care of my sheep." Draw another fluffy sheep there. Again, Jesus asked Peter, "Do you love me?" Draw a heart with a question mark. And again, Peter answers, "Yes, Lord, I love you. You know I love you." Jesus said, "Feed my sheep and follow